Hey guys, this is Raphael, Executive Director here at NOLA Sports Center in Kenner at the Esplanade Mall, and we're excited to announce our new partnership with Forward Performance Athletes with Mr. James Banks. You want to introduce yourself, Mr. James?
Yes, sir. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you, Raphael, for bringing me in. My name is James Banks, CEO and Head Sports Performance Specialist at Forward Performance Athletes. I've been in business now for 5 years, training a number of athletes, from all over the country. Once again, I just want to say thank you, Raphael, for bringing me into this segment and having me on the show.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure, man. Thank you, James, for taking our, offer to bring you in and talk this segment. I think it's going to be great for the next generation of athletes. You guys, we had Mr. James going to be teaching 3 classes, very important classes for young athletes. If you want to get better, if you want to improve your speed, it's going to be happening the first week of September. Stay put. Come check it out. We'll go ahead and offer your first session for free. Once you register, we know you're going to like it, and it's going to get you to a whole nother level. So let's go ahead and get started with the interview. When I asked James, what are the basic skills that athletes, professional athletes, must have in order to go into make it into professional level? NFL, baseball, soccer, basketball. What would you say about that?
I would first say mindset is everything. The way we approach the game, how you approach, everything with training. What's your if factor? So in order to be a great athlete, it starts with the mental capacity of how you prepare yourself. The next thing I would say is, your nutrition. What you put into your body, how you fuel yourself is so critical for an athlete's development and how they perform. The next 2 things I would say is your training regimen. How are you taking care of your body? What type of workouts are you doing? Are you doing something that's going to better yourself each and every year? What are some things that you're lacking in from a skill-based standpoint? The last thing would be recovery. How are we maximizing our recovery process to heal ourselves, to get ready for the next training session or the next time we're getting ready to compete? So taking care of your body is so imperative when you become a high performance athlete.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's good information there. I guess that would answer my next question about your recommendations. You would say that discipline is a major factor, right?
Yes, sir.
On and off the field. So not only practice and giving it all all you can, but also off the field, eating well, getting good rest, maybe not partying so much. If you want to focus on your sport, you would recommend focus on what you're doing.
Yes,
forget about the distraction, right?
Yes, sir.
James, can you tell us some of the professional athletes that you have worked with, or college athletes that you worked with, that currently work with, or have worked in the past?
Yes, sir. So, like I said before, I've been in business for 5 years now. I've worked with a wide array of athletes from the high school level, college level, professional level, and even the youth level. But some notable key athletes that I've worked with this past offseason and in the past, CJ Gardner-Johnson, who's currently playing with the New Orleans Saints, Dejon Harris, who's a linebacker for the Green Bay Packers, some notable key college athletes, Jeremy Singleton, who's over with the University of Houston, Keith Miller, University of Colorado, Kyle Myers was formerly playing with Florida State University. He's probably going to be coming out for the draft this year. Terrell Bailey, University of Tennessee, and Romello Brinson, University of Miami, Lawrence Seymour, University of Miami. So it goes on, man. It's just been a blessing, man, to just be able to touch so many athletes, man, and just impact and have an impact in their lives, man. So training, it's been going good.
That's very impressive, James. I mean, you're talking about professional athletes, and I guess you working with them, the work never stops, right? There's always room for improvement, even at the professional level. They still put in a lot of work, right? What
Yes.
you're saying?
Let me just state this. CJ Gardner-Johnson, professional athlete. Dejon Harris, professional athlete. The way those guys come in and work every single day, man. They're busting it, man. It's no plays off
Yeah.
for them. You know, they understand the level of play and the professional level that they have to rise to each and every time they train.
Sure.
So they want to work on a specific skill set that they may feel they need the most work on, or carry over from last season, something that they need to improve on.
Yes, sir.
So every day, man, we was figuring out ways to, okay, if it was lateral movement, how we can improve their lateral movement. If it was a step, you know, how we can make this step more efficient.
Yep.
You know, so little things like that. When you want to be a top tier athlete, you know, you gotta hone in on your craft.
That's
you
right.
have to hone
That's
in on
right.
your craft.
That's right. So you guys heard here, we're going to be having James teaching a couple of classes out here starting in September. So make sure you direct messages or call us. It's going to be great. We're definitely looking forward to it. Let's get into a little bit of details. Tell us briefly about each of the classes that you're going to teach. And one of them is linear speed, and then multilateral, speed, directional
Yes, sir.
speed, and then active recovery. Tell a little bit about each so that we can educate the athletes and they can understand
Yes,
what
sir.
it is that you're going to be teaching us.
Yes, sir. So with linear speed, right? Every athlete wants to be faster in their sport. Every athlete wants to have an edge over their competition. So in linear speed, we teach straight line speed. You know, someone's ability to move in one direction as fast as you can. So there's different phases that, you know, I break it down in, that start, acceleration, transition, and then absolute speed. So, you know, when we're teaching this, you know, it's not an overnight process, right? Athletes want to get faster, but it's not going to happen just like this. It takes time, it takes work, it takes practice, right? So we have to make sure that we're building effective ways to continue to manage, you know, athletes' stress levels when it comes to performing, you know. So I want to make sure that when we doing linear speed, we're breaking down the mechanics, right? How to sprint efficiently. You know, a lot of guys you see with youth athletes especially, you know, they're running, it's same arm, same leg, or, you know, they're not really utilizing force the correct way. They don't really know how to run. Their feet are kicking out, you know. So we try to make sure that we assess the athletes properly so that way we can start building the foundation. So in a safe foundation for an athlete allows them to maximize their performance in their training so that way they can continue to excel on any level.
Yeah, that's great information there, man.
And then with the multi-directional speed, right, you want to be able to change direction efficiently, right? So getting from point A to point B, you know, is so important in field sports. You know, in terms of, you know, making sure that we can get here, get there in the most effective way. So with multi-directional speed, you know, we teaching a lot of lateral movement, a lot of lateral cuts. One's ability to stick that foot in the ground and make a turn or retreat. You know, especially in soccer, you know, it's a lot of, you know, change direction. So,
Absolutely.
you know, we want to make sure that athletes are positioning themselves correctly, you know, with a good base, good foundation, so that way they can perfect that movement and move in the safest way possible. Because a lot of injuries start to take place when athletes start to rush movements and they're not really, you know, utilizing their hips. They're not sticking their foot in the ground. They're trying to hurry the movement or be sudden. But we want to make sure that if you're going to be sudden, you're being sudden effectively and efficiently.
That's right.
And then the last thing we want to focus on is our active recovery process. What does that look like? Our active recovery process is basically we get a general idea of how our athletes been performing throughout the week, and we try to say, okay, how are we going to give them some rest, right? But rest doesn't mean just take a day off. Rest means, okay, I want to get your body back in the tip-top shape that it started with during the week. So we like to utilize techniques such as Theragun treatment just to really get some deep tissue movements in there, you know, just to really work out any kinks that the body might have. You know, we get tight hamstrings normally, you know. So we like to make sure that we're stretching, we're making sure that, you know, we're getting that deep tissue massage in, just to really help the athletes recover so they can maximize their performance and be the best athletes that they can be on and off the field.
Yeah, no, that's great, man, and I think that's so important, right? When to avoid injuries, because you want to keep performing. When you're performing at such a high level, the potential for risk and injury is high. So you want to make sure you take care of your body, and this is what the best way to do it.
Yes,
so
sir.
he's going to be teaching us and educate everyone on this. James, how do you evaluate an athlete at the very beginning? How do you analyze what each athlete should need? Do you use any equipment, or do you put a file for them and
Yes,
kind
sir.
of follow up
So
with them?
we definitely build a portfolio for each and every one of our athletes. I think that's the most important for any sports performance specialist or performance, coach. First thing we need to do is make sure that we're assessing athletes properly. Right? What does that look like? So that's taking an athlete. Okay, how does he walk? How does he run? Okay, how's his posture? So we look at posture, pattern, power, right? The 3 P's: posture, pattern, power. So if my posture's off, my pattern's off. If my pattern's off, I have energy leaks, right? So we lose power when we have energy leaks. So I like to assess my athletes, take them in, do a little diagnostic test, check their hip flexors, check their knees, check their ankles, check their feet. All of these things are so important because, every athlete is different and unique in their own way. You might have an athlete with flatter feet. So what does that look like? Okay, we want to make sure that we're getting the arch support that we need to make an efficient cut. Or, athlete might kind of be a little bow-legged where their knees may cave in. So how do we get the hip area stronger so that way we start creating that safe, effective bow in the leg to where when they make that plant, it doesn't do any harm or damage to the athlete. So, that's the main thing, is just making sure that we're assessing athletes the correct way and educating them on, their proper posture, what patterns they should be putting themselves in. And then the last thing, if I always say, an athlete, who's powerful and more explosive, if you look at a hose pipe, right? When you turn that water on, right? All that water fuses into that hose pipe, right? And then when it comes out, it's powerful, right? That's how we want to make the athlete. But when you start poking a hole in it, right? And you turn that water on and then you got a leak here, leak there, right? Well, that water's not shooting out as efficiently anymore. It's the same thing with athletes when you're training them. We want to make sure that we get the most explosive, powerful athlete that we can get. And that comes with, we want to minimize energy leaks.
And you heard it first, so again, we're going to be focusing on different aspects of athletes: speed, strength. We also have some equipment here that if we want to work on certain things like power, strength, we got all that. Stay put. If you got any questions, go ahead and send us a message, direct message, call us. Go on our website, nolasportscenter.com. Also, Mr. JamesBanks, he's got his own his Instagram for performance athletes. If you want some one-on-one trainings as well, outside of our small group classes, you can get with him. One last question that I do have before we finish this interview: has COVID-19? I understand that has it affected the business? And as a business, we're definitely going to be following all these procedures here
Yes,
to
sir.
show that when they come, everyone is safe. What would you say to that?
Yes, sir. So with COVID-19 being in effect, we try to make sure we ensure safety first for our athletes and protection of ourselves, right? We want to make sure that everyone is safe, everyone is protected. So yes, I do recommend that athletes wear their mask. Typically, when I'm training, sometimes I'm more hands-on when I'm training, but throughout this time during COVID, I've been trying to make sure that I'm social distancing with my athletes. If I'm teaching from 6 feet apart. I'm not all in their face. I'm not really on them too much. So we're still implementing safety protocols in terms of COVID-19, and as you guys should as well, to make sure that you're ensuring safety for yourselves as well.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And I want the audience to understand that with these classes that we're going to be teaching, it's going to be on a very individual level. So we're not going to have huge amounts of crowd. That we're going to try to keep them to 6 to 8 athletes at a time. So make sure you get registered first, so you can have, first come, first serve. Again, go on our website, call us, or let us know, that you're interested. If you have some friends that you want to recommend, you got any other comments or announcements, man, that you want to tell the audience?
For everyone out there that's been listening to this, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys are really intrigued about training with us. It's going to be fun. Kids are going to learn a lot. And don't think of this as something short term. We're looking for long-term development. We're looking to put this on for years to come. So, I want you guys to know that this is for your kids' best interest. And I have your kids' best interest. Rafael has your kids' best interest. And we just want to make sure that we're developing these kids the right way, the correct way. So that way, when each level that they go to and perform at, they're maximizing their training, and maximizing their skill sets. So I just want to say thank you guys again for listening, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Hey, again, success doesn't come overnight, so it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time putting in the work.
Yes, sir.
I know you have a saying, train to excel, right?
Train to
excel. We're coming together, train like a pro. That's our saying. So we're great, man. Great to have you here. We want to thank you. I think beginning of September, guys, stay put. We're gonna come out with more segments like this bi-weekly. So stay put. We're gonna have more folks coming on here that we're gonna be inviting. And again, if you're interested, go ahead and send us a message. And I think we're gonna wrap it up for today. Thank y'all for watching.
Thank you.